me. And if anyone has any questions, I can just look. I think I can see in the chat. As Foster said, my name is Melissa Armo, and I own my own company called the Stock Swoosh, and I trade actively. I run a live trading room every single day. Today, actually, our big trade was Amazon, and we had a Google option that went crazy today. So again, the market is just roaring. In fact, the market is doing something called power trending today, which is actually really, really rare. So most days the market does not power trend up or power trend down. But today is one of those days where if you're in a strong stock or if you're long the market, you're up. Okay. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But I'm going to talk to you about trading on the side of institutional money and gaps. This is what I do, as I said. As Fausto mentioned, I do appear on TV and I talk about the stock market. I talk about the economy. The reason the market is actually up today and is flying and making brand new all-time highs is because of the fact that we had data out today, which ironically was not good. The data said that inflation is still high, and the market's reacting positively to that because next week we have a Fed meeting, and now the market's convinced that the Fed is going to drop rates again. But I'm not so convinced. I'm not so convinced of that. So it'll be interesting to see. And again, trading is based on people, their emotions, their thoughts. You know, since the election, the market has continued to skyrocket because people are feeling more positive, more optimistic. They're hopeful that with a new administration, things are going to change, things are going to get better, and we'll see what happens. But I do short and go long, which we're going to talk about today too. If you have questions, you can email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. You can call me at 929-3200-GAP. You can follow me on Twitter, which is now X, at the Stock Swoosh, or Facebook, YouTube, or Skype. So I put the stats in here for this year so far, 2024, but I did not put through actually since the 20th. I've been super busy trading and took some time off for the holidays. I only have in here through November 20th, but today, like I said, we did Amazon. That was the trade of the day, the play of the day today. I will update this before the end of the year, but we're up $823,787 in the live trading room year to date through 11/20. This is with an average risk. I risk about $3,500 per trade in my day trades. These are all day trades. I call in the room on margin. So in other words, you need a margin account to do these trades. What do I mean? I mean, if you're going to short 1,000 shares, then you need to look at the cost of the stock divided by how much margin you have. In most retail places, you get 4-to-1. If you want to go prop, you can get 10-to-1. So that's another option for people to look at if they want to do margin trades. I also do options. I'm up over $3 million a year. And again, this is not through the last couple of weeks because I haven't updated since before the holiday. But I risk more in my options. So I'm risking around an average of $8,000 per trade in my options. And I know Fausto was discussing Tesla. I called the 400 calls in Tesla Friday out to the 20th. I mean, I didn't know it was going to go there in 24 hours. It was an insane call. Insane. The stock hit new highs today at 415. You could still be in that trade. I definitely still think it's higher. I mean, you know, when you're trading, you cannot hold everything to a piggy target. That being said, there are some things that do warrant holding it to a piggy target, or what I call a dream target. How do I know? I know based on my analysis of the gap, which is, again, what I teach in my class, which I teach once a month. So there is no class this month. Going forward, it's the holidays. I had my last class for the year this past weekend. The next class is in January. So if this is something you want to learn after you talk to me today or hear anything, you can reach out after the fact. So again, this isn't even through the last couple of weeks. For options and day trades, over 3.8 million for the year. And again, how much you want to risk is dependent on the size of your account and whether you have a margin account or an options account. People love to trade options because they can open up an account with $2,000. They can buy one contract and they don't need a margin account with that. But really, the benefit of doing options is not that you can open up an account with less than 25 grand. The benefit of doing options is that, like I mentioned with Tesla, you can take a trade and hold it overnight with a fixed risk, and you can get there for a longer move, an elongated move, a bigger move. Okay. So again, here we are. It's December, not quite halfway through the year, but almost. I mean, a couple of days, it's going to be Sunday's the 15th. We're halfway through December. It feels like this month has gone so fast because Thanksgiving was late. And before you know it, guess what? 2025 is going to be here. So 2025 is almost here. Are you ready and prepared to have a great year? I mean, I'm not a big person on New Year's resolutions. I'm more of a goal setting person. I set goals for myself. If you want to set resolutions, that's fine. But I think that goals are important. And it's never too early to start setting goals for the next calendar year. So if you did not have a successful year trading in 2024, which many retail traders did not, a lot of people lose money in the market. More people lose money than make money in the market, and it will always be the case. You have to get a plan of action if you want to have different results in 2025. And many times people blame themselves and say it's the market, it's the news, it's this thing, that thing, it's their discipline. When at the end of the day, it's really mostly that they don't have a strategic system that they can use that has more wins than losses. Again, I showed you the stats. I have more wins than losses. I have trades that I take that lose, actually. Again, they're in the stats, but I have more winners than losers. And like I just talked about with the Tesla, I have some winners that are very large winners, and then they cover the losses. And then that's how you can move forward and you start to put together what can be a really awesome career if you really want to do this full time. So again, it's about becoming an expert. In order to become successful in the market, you have to become a specialist. Like if you wanted to be a football player or a basketball player, a baseball player, you want to be good in all sport, any sport, you would focus on that specific sport. Like if you wanted to become a doctor or a surgeon or something specific, you have to have a specialty. It's the same thing with trading. It's really no different. And again, that's why the amount of money you can make is enormous, okay? But many people miss the boat and try to be a jack of all trades and a master of none, and then wonder why they're losing. And then also, I think a lot of people overtrade. So you have to become a specialist in one specific strategy, a strategy that reads institutional money. And for me, that's based on gaps, and it's based on really what I call power money. How do you think the market's going higher today? It's getting bought. Simple. That's it. And a lot of people actually are making money right now, going long, even crappy trades, even stocks that are in downtrends. People are going long everything and anything when the market rallies. The market sometimes lifts everything in the market. That doesn't mean people are taking good trades. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to be able to make money in any market conditions. And even if the market is bullish, you can't go long everything. And again, it's going to be interesting to see, like I said, what happens next week on Wednesday when the Fed meeting comes out, because there are people that could actually get trapped because the market may shake out and have a negative reaction going into next week or even the end of the year. We'll see. But anyways, power money moves the market. Power money moves stocks. This brings momentum and opportunity. And that's why you can trade and make a lot of money trading without even taking enormous size. Like I said, you could take one contract. So every trader in every level must learn the skill set, and it can be acquired through education. Learning is important. Now, I was talking about Amazon. It's actually ridiculous where this is today, but we did this back after the election, 11/7. So this is the options newsletter. So if you want to come and subscribe to the newsletter, this is what it looks like. So I send the letter out. The symbol was Amazon here. We did the 210 calls. It expired the 15th. Let's just look at the chart here. The 7th was here. Gosh, this feels like a while ago. We did it here. So again, I trade gaps. So in this case here, this was a bullish gap. So what is a gap? A stock gaps when the closing price today is different from the next day's trading. And in this case here, since the price closed at 4 and opened at a higher price, it was a bullish gap. It gapped up. Open, rallied, and again, here's the lift. You could have got in and out here. You could have held it into here to the left. You see where it ran up almost to 215. So this was the trade. It cost $2.75 for one contract. 30 contracts under advanced trader risk, you could have made 118% at $9,750. What if you risked 1,100? Again, a lot of people, you can take one contract. You could have paid $275 and you could have still flipped your money around very quickly and made over 100%. So it's not about size. It's about getting a good quality trade and having a winner, okay? And again, in this case here, whether you got out here, or even here you could have got out, it was a good trade, okay? It ran up through the strike, and again, it got bought. Now, again, a lot of people ask me questions about this because they want to trade full time. Well, I only trade in the morning between 9:30 and 10 a.m., 10:15 maybe. I check options if I'm in them, like I write down looking at what the market's doing, but I only day trade in the morning. So I have a very specific time that I'm focused on during the day. So a lot of people want to trade for a living because it's a nice career, because you can work from home and you can make money in a short time period. But number one, you need a winning strategy. You need to learn first. And a lot of people want to take trade ideas, just want to get blanket ideas from people blindly in chat rooms and things like that. At the end of the day, if you don't understand what to do, if you don't understand and have a comprehension of why, like I'm doing the trade, for example, whether I'm short or long, it's going to be difficult for you to actually get anywhere with it. So learning is important. And we're curious. As human beings, we're very curious. We want to know why. And it will also allow you to take more risk, particularly, the kind of risk that I'm talking about. Number two, you need a supportive mentor. So I offer this for people because I'm calling the trades live in the room every day. You do and follow. Okay. Do and follow. Like I said, we went long Amazon today. And then number three, you want to become an expert in one thing. You implement the strategy, get good, and then you add size to win. Because you have all the time in the world to add size to trades. It's about understanding it, like I said, getting in the habit of doing it, and then moving forward from there, feeling like you're getting up every day and you're winning, which is so important for people. It helps their emotional state, their mental state. It helps people stay calm when they're trading, which is actually very important. You need to be alert, but calm, focused, and ready to go and ready to pounce when the move comes in. This is kind of just insane, actually, when you're looking here, the fact that we did the 280 Tesla calls and the stock ran up today to 415. This was like a month ago. We did this on 11/6. I mean, it's hard to believe, but this is an example of institutional money. This is an example of power of money. We did this trade, like I said, back on the 6th. We did the 280 Tesla calls, and it was a 477% return on investment. So it was pricey. These are pricey, some of these ones we're doing, but they're absolutely paying. If you did one, you could have made $6,200. A lot of times people with small accounts want to basically do all kinds of crazy things to make money. That's the wrong attitude. If you have a small account, you should be even pickier. I mean, I'm picky about my trades with a big account, but you should be picky, picky, picky if you have a small account. You need to hit that bullseye and get it right more than you don't. Because these are the types of the trades that you want and you need. So you could take an account where you have $5,000 in it, risk $1,300, and then more than double your account in one trade. And I'm absolutely calling these trades lately. Again, they're there. So we're taking advantage of them. And if you risked 7 contracts or 9,100, you could have made over 43,000. These are, month making trades, just like the trades that I've been calling in the last week. But let's take a look here at the chart again. Here it is right now. This is going to continue. This is just going to continue up. So we did this here, snug as a bug right here, and then it popped. Boom. See it? So again, look at where this stock has gone. Again, we're going back. Today is the 11th, just a little bit more than a month. This is a great example of the power of institutional money. Why? The stock's getting bought, okay? So again, you wouldn't have something like this unless the stock was getting bought. Do you follow what I'm saying? There's only one thing and one thing that can move a stock. It's money, and not a little bit of money, but a lot of money. And again, this is what I call power money in the market. So how do you, as one individual, make money in the market? Because you're not going to move Tesla. You're not going to move the market. You're not going to move anything. You're not even going to move a penny stock. You have to determine who is in control. That's it. It's just, that's what you have to do. So you either have a bullish control or a bearish control. So you either have the bulls in control or the bears in control. That's it. And sometimes you have what's called a sideways trend or neutral trend, which doesn't last long, and it doesn't happen that often, where the control is trying to make up its mind. Most of the time, though, the control is very obvious and evident. And again, if you trade on the side of the control, you can make money. So Tesla, again, is a great example where you would want to be long the stock. Again, you have to get the direction right to win. If you get the direction wrong, you're going to lose. This is Netflix. This is flying today. This ran up today as well. What's the control going on here? Again, the bulls. The bulls are in control of Netflix, okay? Another one we've been trading as an option too. We've been doing calls in this. Again, I buy the call and sell it for profit. I buy a put and sell it for profit. We actually did a really nice short this week. We bought puts in AMD. That worked. And again, it fell, even though the market's been raging up. So let's talk about, like I said, number one, you need a strategy. What is buying? It's called golden gaps. It's a term that I created when I developed my system, because it is like finding gold in the market, because I can predict where stock's going to go before it happens. I'm not predicting the gap itself. Adobe is earnings tonight. I don't know what it does. I don't even know if it's a good gap to play up or down. So I'm not predicting what is Adobe going to do in the earnings, but if I say it, I will be able to use the information and analyze the data in the chart to determine if tomorrow morning I want to go long Adobe or buy a call in it or buy a put in it or short it. Okay. So again, what is a gap? A stock gaps in the opening price today is different than the closing price of yesterday's trading. A gap is a break in price action from one day to the next. So almost everything gaps every day, actually, to be honest with you. It's very rare that something would not gap. Like technically something could close at 32.02 and open the next day at 32.02 and be flat. But most things technically gap on any given day. Now here's what we did. This was Target. This was a nice trade. Stock closed here, gap down. So this was an earnings gap. Stock closed up here above 155, gap down here in the morning. Again, this was the 20th, under 130. So we did a put in this and we shorted this as a day trade. So again, this is a gap. Why? The stock closed at one price and opened at a different price. And in this case here, the price was lower. So it was a bearish gap. Okay. So I'm never, ever, 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 ever going against the direction of the gap, even if I rate it and it rates bad. So for example, if I rate this and it rates that I could short it, that it's going to fall, then I short it, whether I do a put or a short. If I rate it and it doesn't rate per my 26-point system, then I know it's going to reverse and I'm not going to go long it. Okay. So this is an example though, that one that did work in the direction of the gap and we did the trade. So again, my system is based on golden gap. So what is a golden gap? A golden gap is a gap that rates 20 points or more per the golden gap 26-point rating system. You can take the trade in the direction of the gap. You can do the trade as a day trade or an option. I like to do both. Some people are in my room doing both. Some people are doing one or the other. It's whatever works for you. Now, despite the fact that we have had some really fabulous long trades lately, like I said, I talked about AMD that we did this week, though, which was a short. I really do prefer to short. I mean, one of the reasons I prefer to short is because stocks fall faster than they rally. And again, it'll be really interesting to see what happens next week and then also what happens in 2025. While people have high expectations for a big year in 2025, it doesn't mean that we're not going to have volatility. And again, you have opportunity when there's volatility coming in, if you can get the direction right, to short, okay? And you can also make money very fast when stocks fall. Again, here was the target that we did, closed here, gap down. This was a nice trade. And again, this is a big move for the stock. So again, look at it from here to here, from tip to tail, it fell $10. The control here is on the side of the bears. It was a short, okay? Here was the AMD. So we did this one too. Stock closed here, gap down, open, dropped. So this was on the 9th. Today is Wednesday. This was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You actually could still even be in this trade. I mean, it was a good trade. It was a good exit this morning or yesterday, but this fell. And this fell again pretty fast. You know, when you look at it, and pretty big. From the high of this bar here, it's 135, and it almost came down here $10 just in that 3-day period. So we did a day trade in that, and we also did a put. But again, what do? I rate gaps using my 26-point checklist. If you come and want to take my class, you will learn this checklist. This is how I'm able to predict where a stock is going to go in the day. I read the price action, and I'm reading it in the chart. So I'm looking at the price action, rating the gap in the morning, and then determining that I want to do a short or a long or a put or a call or whatever I want to do. And then I take the trade and I let it ride out. And I'm doing day trades quick, and I'm doing options where I'm giving them a little bit more breathing room, where I'm holding options a little bit longer. Like I do options that I may not get out the same day. So I'm trying to get a larger move with options, although I am doing the weekly option expirations. So I don't know if anyone has any questions for me as I am just looking here quickly. I think, do I have till 1 o'clock? Fausto, are you there? Just want to make
Yep,
sure.
I'm here. I'm here.
Do I have till 1?
I'm sorry, what happened?
Do I have till 1 o'clock to speak?
Yeah, you have until 1.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make note of the.
Yeah, 12:55.
Okay, good.
All right.
Perfect. All right. Any questions? If not, I'm going to keep going. Beautiful. Okay. So the rating system helps me determine who is in control. Okay. Who is in control. So again, you only have 2 choices. Okay. You only have the bulls and the bears. That's it. So again, if the stock's falling, you would want to be short. If the stock's rallying, you would want to be long, right? Makes sense. So again, anytime you're looking at doing something, many times when people are taking trades and many times when people actually lose money in trades, it's actually because they're in the wrong direction. It's really just as simple as that. So if you can figure out the direction a stock's going to go, again, before it occurs, that's how you're going to make money, because you get in before the move happens. And usually I'm actually in things very, very early. So again, talking about gaps. Gaps happen in the market on a regular basis. However, some gaps are better than others. Some gaps are nothing gaps, and some gaps are very powerful displays of institutional money. The most important gaps in the market are gaps that signify a change in direction or a bigger move in the same direction. That's what we're seeing right now in the overall market. The market is having a larger move in the same direction. It's breaking out. Understanding which gaps are meaningful and which gaps are not meaningful in the market will help you to know what to do and when a change is occurring. That is how you will know when the power money will flow to pay you. So again, nothing goes straight up and nothing goes straight down. And that's what people find very, very confusing about particularly reading the overall trend. And I'm not a person that buys pullbacks or shorts resistance, but I know a lot of traders do that. But the fact is that's a setup. That's not a strategy. And a lot of people that were waiting for a pullback in the market missed a lot of the bullish move that has occurred since the election or even before. Okay. So I'm trading momentum. Again, I'm trading the gap. I'm not trading pullbacks. I'm reading the footprints of institutional money, and then I take the trade and I get in. And again, a lot of people they're just so confused about direction. Momentum is key. This is how you can risk $1,000 and make $2,000. Again, I'm not risking $3,000 to make 500 bucks. I don't think that's a good quality trade. It's a trade that I would not take. Even though, for example, that would be a trade that would be positive, I don't think that's worth the risk to reward. So usually when I'm day trading in my room, I'm looking for one good trade a day. And again, if I take 2 trades a day, I'm probably having a bad morning. So I probably take the first trade, take a stop, and have to do a retake in it. Ideally, you just want one good solid trade a day, and then you add size, and then boom, you're profitable. And it's about the consistency. It's about the wins. Everybody that's ever traded probably has made money in trades. People can make money in bad trades all the time. People can make money in dumb trades. You saw that with some of the Reddit stocks that were in the craze a couple of years ago that have just completely fallen off a cliff. It's not about that. It's about the fact that you need to have more winners and losers, because otherwise you're not going to have longevity in the industry. Like Foster was talking about earlier, both him and I have been trading for a long time. We have seen people, traders that we've known that are friends, and also people that have businesses like we both do, that have come and gone and disappeared into the night. The fact that I've been trading now for 17 years says a lot. And again, you want to be able to have the staying power to be able to do this. Otherwise, you're refunding your account and blowing it up all the time and refunding it and blowing it up all the time. And not only does it take a toll on your finances, it takes a toll on your mental state. It takes a toll on your mental state so much that you don't even believe in yourself anymore, have the confidence, even if I call a good trade. You have to feel good about what you're doing and that it's worthwhile. And again, that you're putting your money into a good trade. And that's why I say I have 100% conviction. If I have 100% conviction, it's going to work or it's not going to work. And if I don't think it's trade's going to work, then I don't want to do it, you know? Anyways, if you learn how to read the footprints of big position players before the momentum occurs, you can take the position in the right direction and get out after the move happens for profit. But you have to understand how to trade with a side of power, and you need to know how to find it, which is the important piece. And understanding, why is this stock going to fall today? Or why is the market rallying? You know, and this isn't about the fundamentals or reading earnings reports or any of that. I wouldn't have time. If I had to do all that stuff, I wouldn't have time to sleep. I'd be getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go through stuff. All I'm seeing is the chart data. It's technical analysis. So you have to have live charts and live feed. Knowing how to read what institutional money looks like is essential to becoming a successful trader. And you can win big trading on this side of power. And again, a lot of people actually don't even use charts to trade. I know this from teaching people for a number of years. It's crazy. People trade blind. They will turn on the TV. They will listen to what someone says. Money managers do this because, again, I appear on TV with a lot of times with money managers, and they are saying things that sometimes I disagree with, or sometimes I do agree with, and they're not even looking at a chart. They don't know how to read a chart. They don't know what a gap is. So you will be far head and shoulders above tons and tons of people that are trading in the market, or even many of these money managers, if you understand what is really going on here, reading power money, reading the gap, and again, reading momentum. And you can use a system like mine, even if you want to do long-term swing trades or leaps, which are long-term options. Now, I'm not doing those, but you certainly could use my system for that. Again, because it's reading where something is going. Like, I just showed you that Tesla. We were in that at 280. The stock's run up 150 points almost from there. So again, let's talk about institutional money. Becoming a successful trader and investor requires becoming a specialist in defining where the institutions are buying or selling a stock. Learning advanced technical analysis is required. So it's technical analysis, which is reading past price data to predict future price data. That's what technical analysis is. Okay. And again, this comes from experience doing it, time in the seat, like I said. What does this mean? It means reading price action and charts. Comprehending how to read, define, and trade with this power will have a huge positive impact on your profitability as a trader. And anything you can do to keep you in that positive mindset will help you. That's why people shouldn't be so obsessed about size. Again, you can trade my system with 100 share lots or one contract. If you're showing a consistency of wins and greens, that's what you need to feel like, oh my God, this system really works. And then you can always add the size later. Elevate yourself in your trading and your profits to a higher level of consistency and success by learning how to read the footprints of institutions trading in the market, because it's very powerful. It is how you can more easily make money and have more wins. And then again, have these absolutely huge, enormous wins where the stocks are flying. And again, looking at some of these trades that I just did a month ago is crazy today, because again, Netflix is well above 925. We did the 775 Netflix calls back on the 6th. Again, this was in November. This really wasn't expensive for the stock at this price point. It was at 775-ish. $10 for one, you could have bought 9. This was a huge trade. 520% return investment, and you could have done one and made $5,200. So let's take a look at the chart here. This was on the 6th. Again, people really do love trading options with me, but here it was. So here we did it. See where we are, snug as a bug, closed here, gapped up, dropped, rallied, took off. Here's the momentum. Again, here's the momentum. Green, 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 and you're up. So again, take it over here. And you could have even held it longer than since I got out of it. And by the way, we are also in this today. We're in this too. So just some amazing examples here of institutional money. But again, this is another example like Tesla where it's buying. Okay, so you need conviction to trade. But again, where do you get that? You get that from understanding why. So as much as people love to make money and they want to just take trades and get ideas, people trade much, much better once they understand what to do. So again, I had my last class of the year over the weekend. People paid for the class on Friday. By Monday, they had already paid for the class in the trades that I called on Monday this week. That says a lot about the success of the system. Of course, everyone is risking different amounts, but that is what people need, that positive reinforcement to know that what they're doing works, and they can take that energy and move forward into something positive. I've talked to so many people in the years that have had the business now, which has been 13 years, and people just are living in the past trades that they took that they lost money, past classes that they paid for that they didn't learn anything out of, and then they paid a little bit of money for a class and then lost a ton of money in taking bad trades from people that they followed that didn't know what they were doing. Everybody does things like that when they start out. No one's born knowing how to trade, but you got to move past it. And you can't have the attitude that nothing ever works, that no class ever works, that no system ever works, that you're never going to make money, that you're never going to learn anything quality, and that you're never going to learn from anyone. If that's your attitude, you're just hurting yourself. You're holding yourself back. And again, we're getting into the end of the year. This is a good time when you're starting a new year fresh to let things go. I say have amnesia. Have amnesia about everything you did for the past. So it's just amazing to me, because again, I take time talking to people that decide to become clients and then following up with them after the course to find out what they think and what's going on. And it's very interesting. Again, a lot of people just are shocked and surprised how well my system works, even though they signed up and paid for it, because they've done umpteen classes in the past and they've not gotten their money's worth out of it. every class you probably ever took, even ones that you look back and see, you say that wasn't worth it. You probably took one little piece of information. And you also, even if you didn't, even if it was a total waste of time and money, you got that experience. And that can help propel you forward. When I started out trading, I took one class, and then after that, I didn't learn how to make money. But I did learn about charts, and I did learn technical analysis, and I used that information to develop my own system over the course of 3 years. But it was a very hard road. There's only two ways to do it. You're either going to develop your own system where you need to bankroll yourself with a lot of cash, which I was able to do when I developed my system over years, but it was very stressful for me. Okay. And I was working a full-time job at the same time too. Or you pay someone to learn their system. That's it. That's the only two ways you can make it happen. And again, everybody goes through this process of the ups and downs, but you have to, be committed, and you have to be motivated to keep pushing forward. Because if your dream is to trade and you really want to do it, there's no reason for you to give up. And again, this is a good time of the year, to move forward and really get somewhere, have a new attitude, start on a good foot, do a new class, do a new program, and again, change your attitude if you've been noticing that you've been feeling negative about trading or the market, and not to hold yourself back. So how do I do it? I use a 26-point rating system. It's a checklist, like I said. And when you think about it, you're like, oh my God, this totally makes sense. Look for the institutional money, play it with it. Trading momentum, that makes sense. Stocks fall fast, that makes sense. I mean, when you think about everything I've said today, it makes total sense, okay? A lot of traders want to do things and they think are tricky, and they're going to risk the farm and take some big one crazy trade and make all this kind of money. It's going to make all their losses back from the last 25 years. That's not realistic either, okay? So again, quality counts. Quality is important. And again, that's why people pay me to come and learn the information, because the information in the class is quality information along with the trades that I'm calling. And part of that takes commitment. And it also takes you using your brain. The best asset that you have is your mind and your brain. And again, all of this comes into part of it. We need to be healthy. We shouldn't trade if we're sick. If we don't feel good, or you were up late, or you were drinking the night before watching football or something like that, you need to be on your game. But what I always say, I can be perfect for 30 minutes a day. I can be perfect for 1 hour a day when I trade in the morning between 9:30 and 10:15 in the morning. It's challenging to trade all day long from 9:30 to 4, and that's why I don't do it, because you won't be as sharp, 5 hours into the day as you are in the morning, okay? So getting along here, what I'm saying, we were talking about gaps. Gaps are the most powerful show price action in a chart. Gaps have large moves. Gaps can move up or down. Some of the biggest momentum moves in a daily chart come from a gap. When I trade, I'm looking for and trading momentum. Then whether you have a small size or a large size, you will get a good risk to reward, because everyone has a different account size, and you have to live within those parameters. Okay. Any questions here as I'm going along? How's everybody doing? I don't see any questions. Are we good? Fasta is good. Perfect. So let's talk about fundamentals. Okay. Like I said, the Fed meeting's next Wednesday. You can have an opinion. I go on TV, I give my opinion. Somebody else gives their opinion. Turn on the CNBC today, someone gives their opinion. What does that mean? I mean, opinions change, it's different people. You have to look at what's actually reflected in the price, the live price right now. Again, like I said, you need live data feed, and it has to be good. You need a good internet. You could have the Fed come out and do exactly what everyone expects, and then, which is lower rates next week. But guess what? The market could fall off a cliff. Why? He could say something else. He could say, oh, we're lowering rates today, but we're going to slow down in the spring of 2025. Or he could say this thing, that thing, the other thing. So again, making decisions just based on economic data, stats, earnings. Very often you have an earnings report come out and it's fabulous, it's great, and the stock gaps down and falls off a cliff. So you can't even just match everything up like that. So that's why price is so amazing, because you can look at the price, you can see the price, you can say this is going to happen based on this, watch it happen live, quick and fast, and not waiting to see what everybody's going to think and their opinions on this, that, and the other thing, okay? So again, like I was saying, institutional money is in control of the market and stocks at all times. Even if you think it's not, it is. A big flow of money going in a certain direction is what moves the market. Stocks creates momentum and sets the trend in charts. And sometimes I go against the trend. So I'm not always with the trend. Now today I am with the market. I'm not short the market, I'm long. But sometimes I am against the trend. When you are looking for institutional money or really reading the side of power in a stock, you want to be on the side of the power in order for you to make money trading. Institutional money is in charge of the market and stocks at all times. Okay, so what do you need to be successful? Number one, you need a good strategy. Number two, you need a mentor. You need someone you can do and follow. Somebody could go and ask questions after the fact. Why? How did you know, Melissa, that Tesla was going to go to 400 when it was at 350? How did you know this? How did you do that? Why did this work? Why didn't this work? Following someone in the room. Again, it helps tighten up the learning curve when you can trade and take live calls while you're learning through the process and going through and asking questions. Again, it helps to repeat the information. It's all about consistency. And so again, the reinforcement of the live room after the class or even before the class, like people who are signing up for the class in January that haven't done the class yet that are in the room, they're trading ahead of time, and then it's going to be reinforced in the class in January. You want to be consistent with results. You want to take your hard-earned money and you want to take good quality trades. I developed this system because I wanted to look for trades that had high odds. There is no 100%. And if anyone tells you that, that's crap. Okay. You are going to have losers in any system at all. You're trying to have more winners than losers. So my system has any given week or month between a 70 and 80% win ratio. So you figure, okay, well, if I take 10 trades with Melissa, I figure about 7 to 8 are going to win and 2 to 3 are going to lose on average. So that's why I use stops. And those are good odds. There is no 100%. And again, while we are having, many big calls right now, many big trades right now, which helps cover the losers, you have to use stops and stay within and define your risk to keep you on a consistent path where you're moving up. And again, your account is growing instead of having to refund it and take losses and do all these kinds of crazy things where people are doing crazy trades. It also helps with your mindset. Again, if you're more relaxed, if you're more consistent. So here was a day trade. We were talking about this earlier. We did in the target. Stock closed here, gap down, open, dropped. Shorted. Entry was 127.50, got out at 125.50. I thought this was a good trade, but I was laughing then because, again, it went all the way down. Now, I was in the put. It came all the way down. It fell. It almost got to 120, got to 120 and change. But I made $3,000 in a day trade in this, and this was a trade on margin, and I called it in the room. So I did it. I got in, got out fast, which is what I do every day. The put continued, and this did go to the dream target, or what I call the piggy target. Again, this is an example of a gap, and we shorted it. And again, institutional money did what? They dumped it. They sold it off in target. Okay. All you need is one good trade a day. And again, whether you do it as an option or as a day trade is up to you. It's the focus, the quality, getting up in the morning and rating the gap. I'm prepped and ready to go before the open. I know I like this, or I like this, or I don't like anything today. And maybe I don't want to trade that day. We also did AMD. This was also another one here that we did on the 30th, but we did this week too. Here was the trade though that I have in here. We shorted at 149.95, exited at 148.50. And again, stock close here, gap down, open, dropped. You also could have bought a put here, got the drop. Profit was $4,060 on the day trade. Again, you would have needed a margin account to do this trade. Same thing this week. We did a put this week in this, and we did a day trade this week in this. So this has been a really nice mover as well. Anyways, people come into my trading room every day and they expect to win. That's their mindset. We're shocked when we have a trade that loses. While it happens sometimes, we've been having a very good year. That kind of environment is amazing to be in if you've never been in a room like that. People log in, expect me to call a good trade. I expect myself to call a good trade. I'm almost shocked if I call one that loses. I mean, again, I understand that's part of the business, but I've been doing this a very, very long time. And again, sometimes you look at it and you say, well, why didn't that work? Sometimes there isn't a reason why it works. You can overanalyze things to death. And I've stopped doing that a long time ago. I have my system. I place the trade. I look at the target. I do the setup. I get out when I'm up, and that's it. You can't obsess about things, even trades that lose. And again, that's why you have to stay within your stops. But the mindset I'm talking about, where you expect yourself to win every day, is where you want to be, and that's the environment of a trading room that you want to be in. A lot of people trade the market and they take trades with a 50-50 crapshoot attitude, or they think they're going to lose. They're actually worried that they're going to lose, and they take the trade anyways, and they risk their own money, and then they wonder why they're losing and don't have good results. That is crazy town. I don't know why. I don't even know how people deal with that stress, but people trade and they do that all the time. So the mindset in my room is very unique and very different. People expect me to call good trades, and I expect myself to do the same. Someone's talking about a stock price is only worth what a buyer is willing to pay for it. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there for that necessarily, Damon, or what point you're trying to make. Here's IBM. We did this IBM here. We did this on 1024. Oh, shoot, I don't have the chart back long enough in here. I only have this month, but we did this on 1024. Sorry, I don't have the chart. I only have through December here. But we actually shorted this at 219.10, added at 218.75, and got out at 216.40. You can pull this up yourself. We shorted this on the one particular day. And again, this was a nice move to the downsides on that day. Now, again, you could have done a put if you didn't have a margin account to do this. And again, this is one of these ones where we're trading stocks that you know the companies, you're familiar with them. We're not doing penny stocks. We're not doing low float stocks. We're not doing cheap stocks. We're doing stocks that can move $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 on a day, $10 on a day. Very, very important. Anyways, I was talking about also booking profits early, like for example, in the target, and it kept going. I want to be out quick. Then I don't have to worry about data, the Fed, whatever. It's about chunking it out in the live room. Take the trade, get the move, get out. Take the trade, get the move, get out. You want to book it. Same thing with options. Same thing with options. While we hold trades and can get big moves in options, no one should be holding anything to a piggy target. That's how you lose. That's how you give back too much profits. And it's about just having the consistent wins. And my newsletter is a very active letter. I'm calling a lot of trades. And you can't go wrong booking profits. You can't lose when you're booking the money. And ultimately, it's about working smarter, not harder. So like I said, I trade in the morning, and that is the most important time of the day. And then you can have the rest of the day to yourself. You can do whatever you want. So the idea of working 10, 12 hours, I did that in my previous career, my mortgage job. And I was exhausted. It was exhausting. So you get weekends off if you're a full-time trader. And again, my full-time trader position is really part-time hours while I check my options trades during the lunchtime period or before the close. I'm not sitting staring at my charts all day, unless for some reason it's a big day where I'm watching things. But it's a great career if you can make it work. 100% worth the effort, time, and money that you are willing to put into it. If in fact you're willing to put the commitment and the money and the time and the effort into it. Again, people are very often wishy-washy and back and forth with their commitment levels. And it could be because of experiences in the past, or it could be because they don't even know if they really want to do it. That's a decision that only you can decide. Do you want to do this or you don't want to do it? If you do, you got to be all in, because there's no half-assing it. You will lose and you won't be successful if you half-ass it. And again, most people lose the trade the market. Now, again, we're in a period now where the market's very bullish. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. And then all the people that think they know what they're doing, that think that they're brilliant, that are making money, are going to lose. And then they're going to wonder why. Because they didn't have a strategy that worked to begin with. Again, these times like this right now, for example, today where the market is power trending, do not last and are very unusual. And you have to know that. You have to be well-trained and well-versed and smart enough to understand that the time that we're in right now, you want to take advantage of, but that you have to be able to trade it under any market conditions. So Annie was talking about shorts. I love to short. Okay. Panic comes in when a stock falls, which is why I prefer to short. So we were talking about learning a good strategy, following a mentor, and then focusing on one thing. So I don't trade a million different strategies. I'm not doing Forex, Bitcoin, this thing, that thing. I just trade gaps. If you become an expert in one thing, that is how you can be successful. That will help you be consistent. That will help you have less losses. Then you will become an expert in it, and you will know things that you don't even know. Like sometimes, like I'm telling you, some of the targets I've seen on some of these charts that weren't even numbers that were not even there. The experience of doing something over and over and over and over and over again for days and weeks and months and years, the same strategy, which is what I've been doing. You can't put a price on it. And a lot of traders jump around to too many things and they never get good at anything. And then they wonder why they don't make the money. So one of the cornerstones to everlasting trading success is really consistency. Without it, it's just so hard to stay in the market for any length of time. People leave, they come back, they lose, they take breaks, they come back. You want to stay with it. You don't want to give up. You can do this. And again, I rate the gap, and that's how I'm determining it. That's how I know what stock to trade each day. That's how I know the direction to trade it. I'm always looking for the power of money. This is just, this is a good example, like I said, of a short, just like the AMD that I've recently, but this was a good one here recently we did that was an earnings one. But you can be a professional trader. It's not impossible. There's good systems out there that you can learn. Mine is one of them. But the checklist helps tell me what to look for in the price of the stock. I get up in the morning and I rate it and decide if I want to do it or not. I don't take any trades at the pre-market. I wait until the open to do the trade. And again, I've repeated this earlier about how power money is in charge and you really have to respect it. And it's actually a great thing. The amazing thing is that as negative as traders and analysts talk about the power money people, they're the reason that one individual can be successful in the market. And I'm sure there were people that exited the market that were long the last 2 days when the market fell, or there were people that shorted the market and that got tripped up today when we broke out and made new highs. People always say, oh, they did this, they did it. No, people weren't looking at the right things. If they weren't in the right direction, or if you were in a trading was down, you have to hold the conviction to stay with the trade, or you have too much risk on, or you didn't understand why it was there. I love every trade to go to the piggy target, and I love every trade to go the second that I take it, but that's not reality either. Sometimes I take a trade, sometimes I take an option, and it may take longer to go than I want. It may not go the day I do it. It may take a day or two. Okay. So again, I'm doing the weekly options. And again, this was the target. But it's all about the gaps. It's all about reading power money. It's all about seeing things clearly, and the power money moves. Now, I started talking about 2025 and setting the tone for 2025 and getting into that personal space where you are ready to develop yourself and really do something called level up. I'm sure you've heard this before, but this really applies to everything in our life, not just trading. But specifically, you will need to have this attitude to be successful trading. Why? There's too many people that are trading the market that want your money. When I take a trade, when I'm long the market, someone else is short, and they're losing and I'm winning. You see the difference? And different stocks, or I could talk about Target would be one of them too. Too many people trade in the fly and are not getting anywhere. And they're just not interested in learning. They're not getting good. They're losing. Getting good is the only way you will ever make money. And you're not going to get good at something until you learn a good strategy. You're not going to get good if you're flying all over the place with a 50-50 crapshoot attitude. You only get conviction if you get good. Otherwise, you have no conviction. And again, you could be trading blind then with that, where you take a trade and you don't even know if it's going to work. Well, what are you doing? That's so insane. Do you understand? Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. You wouldn't tell your grandma to take a trade if you didn't think it was going to work, her last dollar in her savings account. You have to think about this like you care about the trades that you take, and you care about being successful, and you want to be successful, and you want to get somewhere with it. So anyways, my strategy is called the Golden Gaps. How do you make money in the market? Trade a strategy and system that's profitable. Golden Gaps are highly profitable strategy because they focus on large momentum to trade. What stocks do I trade? Stocks at gap and rate 20 points or more per the 26-point Golden Gap system. And when do I trade them? Early in the morning in the open when they set up and trigger. Again, I'm not getting in the pre-market. You must have a structure in place to make any money at all. And again, my checklist helps people stay consistent once they learn it and they apply it. So I rate the gap in the morning. This is what you learn in the class. You learn the 26 points. It's on the daily chart. Tells you what to trade for and what to look for every day. And I'm looking for the early confirmation, big move, precise entries. And again, I'm calling the trades in the room. If you're getting into the end of the year and you want to prep for 2025, like I said, now is a good time to put a plan of action in place. Trade gaps that rate. I'm looking for 20 points or more as a cutoff. So I don't have to have a perfect 26. I'm looking for 20 or more. The higher the gap, the better the quality gap. Then I'm looking to get the best entry, teach the entries in the class, and then you need a money management plan. How many trades are you going to take? How much you're going to risk per trade? Are you going to do day trades? Are you going to do options? All of this, you get organized and you write it down. And you write it in a notebook and you write it on the sheet. And I do think 2025 is going to be a big year. What do I mean? I think it's going to be a great year to trade. That doesn't mean I think the market's going to be bullish all year. Maybe it'll fall. It's going to have volatility. If anybody traded in 2016, 2017, 2018, when Trump was president back then, we had wild swings in the market, up and down. Trump would talk about tariffs, the market would fall off a cliff, then it would rally again. And there's all kinds of things going on. There was a lot of opportunity then, and we're going to have it now, and we've already seen it. We've already seen it. It's in the market. It's in stocks. And someone was telling me, someone actually signed up for the newsletter last week, and he was doing futures. He said, you know what? I don't want to do futures anymore. Trading stocks is more fun. He's making more money. And that's the truth. People trade futures because they can open up a small account and they think it's easier. People only think that's easy because of the fact the market's been running up. And again, that may or may not last. The market is not easy to read and predict every day. And I don't trade the market every day, even though today we did. The fact is that stocks have large moves and they're fun to trade because you get the big moves and they have bigger moves in the market. And again, the market's been very pricey, even to do as an option. The market is very, very pricey. This is me. I did a live class in September in New York. I don't have a live class planned for 2025 in New York City. So my class for January is online, but I met people. They came to New York City. They met me. It was a real experience for me. And it was a great experience for them. And so, you know, for me, I'd meet people all over the world. People flew to New York City and came and taught, and I taught my class, and it was a good experience. And I tried to be there for people, but I am a real person. I really live in Manhattan, and it's a wonderful, wonderful place. And I'm so happy and thrilled that I'm able to do this, that I pushed through, because when I started trading, I didn't know what I was doing. If I had quit and if I had gave up, I wouldn't be where I'm at now in my life. So you are closer than you think that you can do this. It's just whether or not you have the commitment level that you really want to do it and want to get serious about it. But it's a great time of the year to learn and train. Again, the opportunity is there, and the time of the year to start out 2025 and learn something new and do something new is a great opportunity. And again, to change the energy with what you're doing to make it real and positive for you, because this is real and you can do it. This was a nice email I got from Gary. He did the class last weekend. Just Saturday and Sunday. And the cost of my class is $79.99, and he almost made back the cost of the class in these trades. And then he emailed me later. He did the AMD put, and he actually made $9 grand, but I didn't plop that email in here. So it's a good success story, a recent success story from someone where people, they just are on and on and on about losing in classes and this thing. People need to think of a long range, learning something now that you can use and replicate for the rest of your life. And again, it's an investment. Taking a class like mine is an investment in you and yourself. This is a picture. Does anyone recognize this? I'm sure Fausto does. That's Bill Ackman. I saw him in a restaurant the other week. You know, it's just, you know, living in New York City where I live is just fabulous, fabulous, fabulous environment for me. I live among billionaires, which is just incredible. And when you're looking to learn from people and follow people, you want to follow successful people. You do not want to follow losers. You do not want to follow people that don't know what they're doing. You do not want to follow, I hate to say it, but people that are poor. You want to follow people that are wealthy, successful, and brilliant. And you know what? Those are the people that are making it in the market. And today is a great day. It's an example. Those are the people that are buying the market today. You know what I mean? I mean, again, this institutional money is one. It's hedge funds. It's professional traders. It's big banks that come in and move the market. So if you think about it on a practical level, on a professional level, it totally makes sense. So empower yourself today to trade. If you want to do this, I teach my class. I teach it once a month. It's a full course in how to strategically pick and play stocks that are professional bearish gaps. So my class is in January 25th and 26th. I'm running a special through Sunday. You would sign up now. You can start trading now. You can start trading tomorrow if you want. It's 2 classes and 3 subscriptions. This is a Merry Christmas special. Normally it's $79.99. I'm doing a sale, $69.99, as long as you sign up by Sunday, December 15th. And then you would do the next class, which is in January, but you can start trading now. You can get the trades today. So this is a great special, and you would get the market report, trading room, and newsletter subscription with the 2 classes through the end of 2025. What else? Damon's talking about trading. Very good. How's everyone doing? I think I made it with time.
Yeah, Melissa, you did great, and I'm dying laughing that you're telling me to hang out with rich people. There's a lot of, it's funny to say that, but I always tell everybody, like, reason why I also leave New York is because it's the financial capital of the world, and like you said, you bump into people all the time. You learn from these people, you feed from them. I mean, I live in Long Island, I live in Manhasset. Some of the biggest traders in the world live in my town. They're in my country club, so you're not going to beat them. You got to join them. So.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So I mean, we have a lot in common. That's why I love having you on, because sometimes we hear from a different perspective of someone that lives in an area, understands it. You don't get it. It's like, it's like us going to an expo for people who want to learn about being actors, and like, oh, you got to live in Hollywood. That's what you got to do. And that's, it's like, why? That's where most of them are. So you got to be part of that whole environment. Well,
Yes. Well, happy holidays, Fasha. If I don't talk to you, have a
you
Merry Christmas.
probably seen them. Yeah.